Alafia, ETM Hotel, Jama and Boca. This is Shawn. Um, Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like the show, share the show. I really haven't shared the show. I just want to get into something real quick. I know y'all are probably busy commuting from work or headed to a family function or whatever the case may be regarding your situation. But I needed to go live real quick to discuss a couple of things. As you can see in the channel, Science with Shawn is suspended. We're going to get into that and we'll see exactly what am I talking about. Let me see if I can pull up everything that I need to pull up and make it big enough for people to follow along. And then we'll get into it. So yeah, like the show, share the show. It's gonna get a little interesting right here. And I'm gonna get into a little bit of science. There's a new variant that is. I'll be real quick with this. There's a new variant that has emerged, and the variant has mutated several times. And this new variant they're saying is being driven by immunocompromised people who have HIV. And right now it's heavy in South Africa. There's like 100 cases of this new variant. So we need to keep our eyes on that, and we need to make sure that we're dealing with what we're dealing with from a certain perspective. Now, I did a video the other day refuting information by Scott Allen, this guy. If you don't know who Scott Allen is a orthopedist who went into a some type of meeting or whatnot, and in that meeting, he had this little slideshow that he put together. In the slideshow, he presented information. He began his information with some Pfizer data. The Pfizer data turned into his own little spiel about information, and then it just stumbled or rambled downhill. For those of you who have kept up and watched that live, right? For those of you who watched that live, you understood that immediately it was pseudoscience because a lot of things that he said we caught very quickly, even in the first video. However, because of that cleanup that I actually did on that video, I received a strike from YouTube. Now, this is interesting because I got the strike and then I challenged the strike. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of questionable because everybody knows that anytime that I refute information, I have the sources, right? So let's look at what they said to me. This says, "Hi, Science Shawn. Our team has reviewed your content, and unfortunately, we think it violates our medical misinformation policy. We've removed the following content from YouTube. We know that this might be disappointing, but it is important to us that YouTube is a safe place for all." Let me stop right there. I got the video that I played from YouTube. The video that that we went through and refuted, I got it from YouTube. And I bet you the video is still up. How many people want to bet it? Put a 1 in the chat if you want to bet me that the video ain't up. Put a 2 in the chat if you agree with me that the video is up. If you want to bet me, put a 1 in the chat if you say the video ain't up. Put a 2 in the chat if you riding with me on this bet that the video is still up. Ah man, I ain't seen Pure Black in like a week. We done did like 5 shows. I ain't seen that, brother. All right. So it says if content breaks our rules, we remove it. If you think we've made a mistake, you can appeal it and we'll take another look. Keep reading for more details. How your content violated a policy. YouTube allowed claims about COVID-19 vaccinations that contradict expert consensus from local health authorities or World Health Organizations. Pause. Every source, and I'm going to pull them up again. Every source that I referred to was by local health authorities or World Health Organizations. And I'm going to show you why. Now, because of this, uh, it would be my second strike because the second strike was a video that I refuted and cleaned up, and people was like, "Hey, where's this video at, man? I got some people resharing that information that you debunked the other day, but it looked like it's not on your page no more." That was strike number one. So what I'm saying is every time that I refute a video that has misinformation in it, my video gets taken down and then it is misrepresented. But YouTube is not doing their due diligence in reviewing the videos and even looking in the description of the videos, because when I even challenged when I appealed the decision, I saw my damn sources to the right hand side of that. So let's deal with that. So here's why I appealed it. We have reviewed your appeal for the following content. We reviewed your content carefully and we have confirmed that it violates our medical misinformation. We know this is probably disappointing news, but it is our job to make sure that YouTube is a safe place for all. This is the video. It is removed. View in studio. Submit an appeal. Appeal rejected. Return the strikes. The content is unavailable for one of them. Here's the other one. This one right here. So the video is removed and it's still going to say that. All right. So now you can't see it at all. I think you can. I can, but so they removed it wholeheartedly, and it's not going to be anywhere in here or my lives. So yeah, they just threw it all out. So let me do this. I wanted y'all to be able to see the appeal, because if you look here below here in the description here, if I could click on this, you see a link right here. That's a source. That's going to be supported by the local health authorities and the WHO, all the sources. So let me do this. Let me go to my backup. This is my backup. Every time something ain't right, here's my backup. Here's my backup. And I told y'all the video is still up because there you go right there. There go the video that's under question. The video is still up, ladies and gentlemen. Watch. I ain't even gonna play it. The video is up. It's not down, it's up. So I beg the question, for those of you who rode with me, y'all already knew that I knew the pseudo video was still up. So here's a source. Here's a source. Here's a source. Here's a source. The White House. Oh my goodness. Here's a source. Here's a source. Here's a source. The FDA. Here's a source. Here's a source. You see what I'm saying? Like, I make sure to always back up my information somewhere because I know when we're having arguments with people that I file it and I know what days I can go to and grab the information when I need it most. I always do this. Now, y'all might not still use Hangout for something, but me, I'm gonna use it for something. I got it and I know how to do it. This saves me for having to go dig for stuff. Dig. Look at all these sources. You gonna tell me the Journal of Nature, New Scientist. So you're gonna tell me that you reviewed the work. That's what you're telling me. I got Nature in here twice. BMJ in here. The New England Journal of Medicine in here. Guess who listens to them? The who? This your man's right here. He's an orthopedic surgeon, but he had an opportunity for 7 minutes to discuss some misinformation for 7 minutes, and his video is still live. His video is still live. So now I run it down. This is from the CDC, ladies and gentlemen. He made a claim early on in the video talking about certain adverse reactions and stuff. I pulled up the CDC information that he was referring to only to give a clearer breakdown and give it context to show you that he had no command of what he was talking about. He's good at fixing bones, ACLs, MCLs. That's what he's good at. He's a sports surgeon. That's what he's good at. Then he brought up a claim about post misrepresented Pfizer's data on vaccine efficacy, and then I show where it was misinformation. They totally misrepresented it. Look, if you don't believe what I'm saying, if you go back and watch his 7 minutes, he uses this to the T. The FDA granted emergency use authorization for company's vaccine December 20th after reviewing early data from Pfizer's ongoing study, which includes 44,000 participants. He breaks down the 44,000 participants. The data Pfizer released on the 20th includes 6 months of follow-up data and required FDA full approval. He is using things, but he didn't use the facts. He did this. Reflected deaths from all causes. He used this because remember, he showed deaths from all causes in his slide. This refuted that. So everything that I actually showed puts him in compromise, but his video is still on YouTube. I'm suspended for 90 days. New Scientist, all right, dealing with the Alpha variant. Remember, that was part of the conversation. This comes up and it legitimizes everything. Then I went to the White House fact sheet when they made the vaccines available because the question was posed, when did the pandemic, during the pandemic surge, the vaccines didn't prevent deaths or slow things down? And the rollout didn't occur until after EUA, and it was for frontliners. And then it went on to elderly and immunocompromised. And it wasn't even approved for other people to get it until May. You had people who had to have some sort of uh, comorbidity in order to get it before May 1st. It became available for all people May 1st. So you had people like me and who jumped the line. Oh, we got high blood pressure and all this other stuff. So we could get it, right? That's what occurred. Now, he like, well, it didn't stop the wave. The wave was in February. The vaccine wasn't available for all people until May. Then he talked about how deaths didn't occur. What did he say? He said something about the deaths. But the deaths come after infection. You just don't get the infection and then start getting these deaths. The death count is slower because some people may die a week from their infection, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month from there. And the causes of their death are led to, and then he challenges that. So we ran down everything. Then he went to Taiwan. See, I had the whole video set up. My sources was aligned with his claim. When I go from left to right with all of these sources, they're aligned with his claim. He went to Taiwan. He made a claim that the Taiwan said that more people would die from the vaccine than COVID, the infection, right? The disease. He said more people was dying from the vaccine than the disease. However, that information is false. So it's fact checked here by boom, 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 the people in the area. And we give up the data. And I provided the sources for that. And then it talks about the CDC in that as well, and VAERS. And then boom, I go to VAERS. Then he talks about this being the only reporting system, but people don't really understand what's going on with VAERS because they mismanage it and misrepresent it. Oh, the orthopedists make the mistake too. He's an expert at fixing sports injuries. Then his whole argument was centered around mandating COVID vaccines. So I had this in the back because I knew that he didn't understand the difference between an EUA and a BLA. And then he tried to sit here and say there was no committee. Boom. Do you not see me walking you through what's going on? I'm taking you case by case because I watched the video so many times. That's how I knew the video was up. That's how I knew how to align my argument. But I'm suspended for 90 days. All I did was play this dude video, which is still up on YouTube. And then I come through and I gave the actual information. They're not going to take this video down because it doesn't violate the community. There's no misinformation or no video being played or anything like that that's being actually being targeted. So there's no claim to fame here, right? They said that the content has to be supported by local health agencies or the WHO. So every source that I have is supported by local agencies and the WHO. Every source. He said that there was no committee. The last four sources I show all deal with the committees and their meetings and how they act and how they vote on approvals for EUAs and BLAs. And then I told y'all to go get acquainted with the members of the committee who approved the BLA. Then he brought up OSHA, talking about liability waivers and things of that nature. So we pull up OSHA. We go look at the liability waivers forms. Can we still file one? Yes, we can. This is all about refuting the claims made in the video. Then he said something else about how the deaths list and the cause and all of that. He using a weird example. I'm not going to go on all of that, but I had him lined up. He's lined up everywhere. You can't go nowhere. You can't run. Theirs is reporting today 18,000 deaths. However, that's not 18,000 confirmed deaths from that database system that they're talking about related to vaccines. There's not. And then he talked about how they're counted. We went through to line them all up based on information that would be where it needs to be. We did that. And then I gave y'all this example here, but did Powell's death count as a COVID death? You see what I'm saying? He was infected. He was also he also was protected, but it gets complicated because the disease he has doesn't allow him to gain some type of immunity to protect himself against SARS-CoV-2. So it's complicated with him. But his complications were from COVID. CDC, the daily updates. We talked about the mortality, where he talked about trying to get at mortality rate and things of that nature. And of course, you know me, I got the data. I know where to go get it, where to sit down and go through it. Then he talked about possible side effects again. So we brought up the side effects. He tried to make a big deal about the side effects and saying all these things happen. His whole argument was against mandating the vaccine. Then he said the FDA approved the vaccine, but it was neither Pfizer or Comirnaty, or however you want to say it. We got to say this a lot of times and get used to this. Comir is supposed to be like community, but community. He says, but the hospitals don't have it. Remember, he said all of this. It's not even available in the hospital. Then boom, I show the hospitals. I asked Chavis and everybody in the chat, was it at these hospitals? And they said, yeah, because this very first one is Texas, specifically Houston areas and things of that nature where you can go get the vaccine, right? He was lined up, talked about viral load. He misrepresented. He said he was talking about the saliva testing and things of that nature, but he was really going all off subject. Then he talked about fully vaccinated people spreading the vaccine, spreading the virus more than people who were naturally infected. He was wrong about that. And then I give you sources on that. Journal of Nature. These are things that the not the CDC, that the World Health Organization uses, right? I'm using sources that the World Health Organization is going to use, and even our local authority, but yet the video was taken down. It gave me a strike. This is the second time it has happened, even though I had the sources to substantiate the position that I'm taking and educating people on. I don't know why this is so big, but whatever. And then he talked about the Delta variant, and he was misrepresenting the information there. And so then I turn around and show people how the current vaccines were protecting against hospitalizations and death. That's what these last few sources are regarding the Delta variant. Although they were created before the Delta, these vaccines, before they have been fine-tuned now, that they have been, they were protecting against hospitalizations and deaths. But the against infections, they were wanting protection against infection because it was a new variant, and you were going to see that. So then you start seeing, like I said, Moderna's vaccine went from 94% to like 88% against the Delta. Pfizer's protection went from 95% down to 67, 66, 64, 66%, something like that, against the Delta variant. And Johnson & Johnson was just barely above 50% above protection against the Delta variant. Remember, there's studies that have already been done like that. So the effectiveness of COVID-19 vaccines against the Delta variant. You see what I'm saying? Like, I was protected. These are sources that the WHO and the local health communities use. So I was not in conflict with anything at all. He said, rename this, rename this to YouTube on trial. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Science with Shawn YouTube channel will be down for 90 days. It's just how it's gonna go. It's gonna be down. I've already appealed. Can't appeal it again. They're not gonna let me appeal again. As you can see, they just pretty much terminated the appeal option. So it is what it is with that. It is what it is with that. But I do want to see if I could comb through something that I just mentioned to y'all and kind of wrap up the day with what's going on with that. So yeah, we won't be on there. I may do a show maybe once a week. I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if I refute any misinformation, I'm telling y'all this now. If I refute any misinformation moving forward, that information will be on Facebook Live. I'm gonna play the video on Facebook Live. I'm gonna critique it and break it down on Facebook Live because Facebook will let all of that information stuff stay up. You know, those fake TikTok videos and all of that, they let them stay up. It'll be on Facebook Live. That's a fact. So that's if I waste my time doing it. And that's pretty much what I was trying to explain to Unc when he wanted to deal with a particular video, that if we're playing these videos and things of that nature, even though I had all the credentialed information up to support what I was actually doing, you don't know how YouTube is going to perceive that information, especially when you're refuting that information. So therefore, I'm glad that it was Science with Shawn that actually got it and not the Mossy, because I was doing all my Science with Shawn's over here. And had I done that over here, it would have been our second strike over here, and nobody would have been able to go live for 90 days or post. And I didn't, and I'm not going to succumb to Mossy Warrior Clan channel to that, although I could be in the right. I've been in the right every time that I've gotten a strike for attacking misinformation, because I have other videos where I attack misinformation and they stayed up. I just don't think that YouTube uh, is really watching the videos. I don't think that they're watching the videos. They're paying attention to algorithms for misinformation, not correct information. They're not listening for the correct information. They're listening for misinformation, whether it's me or someone else saying it. And I could be, if I play the video, that's what they're catching. However, they ain't attacking certain channels. It's like once you get on their radar, then they're entrenched in the algorithms picking up certain things, like your channel is marked for certain things. Monitor this channel. See the channel where that misinformation is sitting, she probably don't have any misinformation or any other information on her channel, yet she has that one video and it's going to survive that because it's not a lot of people. So what I have on the screen is a new coronavirus variant, which is a serious concern in South Africa. All right. So scientists in South Africa are studying a recently identified new coronavirus variant of concern, stoking fears the country may face a potential severe fourth wave that could spread internationally. Now, the newly discovered variant is right now is called the B11529 until a Greek letter is assigned to it. All right. So what do we need to know about this? Here's a mutation variant of serious concern. Why is it of serious concern? The virologists have detected almost 100 cases linked to the variant in the country to date. This comes from a microbiologist, the head of respiratory disease in the National Institute of Communicable Disease. World Health Organization officials have met to discuss the virus, which has also been detected in Botswana, according to a separate statement. Here's the tracking COVID cases for the world right now. In the US, most cases today, 111,000 cases. Ladies and gentlemen, I just told y'all 2 weeks ago that the cases was down in the 70s. Now they're up again. They're at 100. Come on, yo. We'll get to this in a minute. Anyway, what's causing this mutation is what's most important. The B11529 is likely to have evolved during a chronic infection of an immunocompromised person, possibly an untreated HIV and AIDS patient, said Francis Balux, UCL Genetics Institute. The world's biggest number of HIV cases has complicated South Africa's effort to fight the coronavirus pandemic, as immunocompromised people can harbor the virus for longer. Remember when we talked about the United States patient who had HIV, the virus mutated in her 36 times. She had it for like it was in her for like, what was it, more than 90 days. She succumbed to maybe even 5, I think it's 5 months. I can't remember wholeheartedly. So if I'm incorrect, you can correct me where I'm wrong. but she had it for quite some time. The virus mutated though over 30 something times in her body before it was released. And when I say released, I'm not talking about like, yeah, we here long enough, boom, bye. I'm just saying before she was able to clear the virus. Yeah, Joe, Botswana is having similar problems. So this is the potential of a fourth wave that has something to do with them. This is a variant of concern, B11529. Right now, we don't know what's going on with that, but you best believe that scientists around the world have already sequenced um, and began testing against that variant. Since they have the data, they can sequence, right? The mRNA vaccine, they can go back in there and they can sequence and test against that. If it's something deadly of concern, then they can deal with that. So let's go to yeah, okay. So I'm signed in. I wonder why I ain't never signed in on my phone. All right. So they ain't gonna kick me out of this because I got a Bloomberg. So there you go. So this is mapping the outbreaks, right? Man, we are slowly watch. Before 2022, we are more than likely to be at 800,000 deaths before January or just right at January. Our per day numbers are increasing. We were, before we got around this November threshold, we were treading. We were high earlier in the year, around that March, April, somewhere around there. Then we slowly began to come because the vaccine began to start work. You know, this is before people were really get vaccinated, right? You had these little surges come, and then all of a sudden you start seeing vaccine efforts roll out and numbers begin to dwindle. But you don't have everybody vaccinated. So what happens? Schools start back, things like that. Look at this. 111,000 new cases. We went from 70 to 75 new cases a day to 111,000. Come on, yo, that can't be right. Let's see if I can I need to be more specific. I need to make sure that this isn't. One second, y'all. All right, let me play with this chart. Yeah, man. There you go. Look at that. 111,000 new cases on November 24th. That was yesterday. So we don't know how many we got today. And everybody finna go eat Thanksgiving with people. You're about to go have Thanksgiving dinner with family and friends. And yesterday they had 111,000 new cases. That was more than the 23rd, which yielded 92, more than the 22nd. Oh, shoot. 157,000 on the 22nd. So here's what's going on right now. Man, make sure that y'all are masked up when you're around your family members and friends and you're communing with your family members and friends. Just make sure that you are taking the necessary precautions to keep them safe, yourself safe. Um, Words of advice. Uh, it takes a person 45 minutes to inhale or contract or be infected by the Delta variant. It lingers, in that area. So if you're out to eat, as an example, you got about 45 minutes that's the infection rate. For anyone that don't know what I'm talking about, and I apologize. The infection rate of the Delta virus is around the 45-minute mark. For the Alpha, it's like over an hour, and other variants a little bit slower. So when you're dealing with R naught and you're talking about the rate of transmission and infection, the rate of infection has been scientists have tracked that down, right? And mainland China numbers are at 24 cases a day. Joe, well, you have to think about China went back to different type of restrictions. We're open, bro. We got football games with 70, 80,000 fans at concession stands, bathrooms, uh, elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder. We get basketball games indoor, high school, little league, collegiate, professional, um, boxing matches. We got concerts, shoulder to shoulder. There's no social distancing. Everybody's not wearing a mask. You have Republican states removing masks. Man, listen, there was people in the concert with no mask. I'm in there joking with my shit on the whole time. Like you, the rules are less restricting, so you're going to see a surge in case numbers. Look, bro, we was making progress. October, them numbers was low, low. I mean, we still had cases, but them jokers was low. And then it just like zoom. Before football season began. And I want y'all to think about that. Before football season began, look at the cases. Look, we had a day with 5,000 cases, 6,000 cases. This is the vaccines effort. This is the vaccines effort. Social distancing, mask mandates. This is when people were mask mandating. Soon as we get close to football season, what we start seeing a release of these restrictions, people going to the beaches, partying, clubbing, all of those things. People nightlife increased, and then you start seeing increased numbers again. Kids are back in school. All these things start to submerge. You all over the place. And follow the pattern. Follow the pattern of the deaths. Look, boom, January 2021. Watch the deaths. Vaccine efforts. Vaccine efforts following the same path as infections. Look at that. There was a day where there was 37 deaths, bro. 51 deaths. 32 deaths. We would take those numbers every day now. But remember, these are on a day to day, so they still add up to. If we could get to a period where we have like less than 100 deaths a month, then that's successful for me. But I ain't the one to determine when we hit an endemic stage. And then look, watch the deaths increase as the crowd participation continues, and then they kind of level off or teeter off a little bit. And watch what happens when we get to the 24th. We go back a couple days. We go to the 20th. It was 322 deaths. There were some deaths earlier up there because we were averaging about 1,400 deaths a day. But then we start seeing a little lower numbers and then they'll jump back up. Now, we just seen a surge of 111,000 new cases. So on the 26th, if we check this statistic on the 26th, we're going to see potentially not the 26th, but maybe like next week, like the 30th or right before we get to December 1st, we'll see some matriculations of certain things transpire with people. Yeah, you're going to have to whip out the N95 mask. I wear 2 masks, though. I wear 2 masks. Pierce said, take a trip to San Bruno, California. That boy crazy. But yeah, here's where we are. So I'm going to project, and I can make a projection because other people can make a projection. I'm going to project that if we continue to teeter over this next week, 100,000 plus infections, that we're going to see, we're going to go from 1,400 deaths a day to back up to over 2,000, potentially 2,500, maybe even 3,000. I don't know. I can make a projection. I'm basing it on patterns. So if we go back, all right, so people don't think that I'm crazy. Watch this. Cases. 300,000 cases January 2nd. There was only 2,500 deaths on January 2nd. But let's go 7 days from January 2nd, which will put us at the 9th. 3,305 deaths on the 9th. So what that means is, let's see if I'm correct. So let's go to January 3rd. And then let's count 7 days from January 3rd. January 3rd, 1,400 deaths, January 3rd. Now let's go to the 10th. 2,018 deaths. How many cases was on January 3rd? 200,000, not the 300,000 that was on the 2nd, 200,000. So let's go to the 4th. 184,000. 2,000 on that day. Let's go to the 11th. 2,099. So just going off patterns, man, pattern record. This is what these epidemiologists. So if you're around closer to that 200,000 mark, you potentially see about 2,000 or so deaths. Let's see if I'm accurate. Let's go to January 8th. There was 295,000 infections. So we're going to be over 2,000. We're going to be somewhere around 2,500. We'll be somewhere around 25 or almost 3. Who want to bet? January 8th. So the 15th is the day that we're looking for. Look at that. Almost 4,000 deaths on the 15th. Those deaths take a while to catch up to those infection cases is basically what I'm telling y'all. That's all I'm telling you is that the rate of these the case rates, you're infected first and then you know what I'm saying? So that's why we go there. And some of these people that probably died later on around these dates were probably infected on January the 1st or 2nd. I don't know. I'm not determining that. I'm just saying probably is projection. That's all you're doing is you're looking at how many cases, and then you can spread that out over a week. And that case rate is probably going to lie somewhere around where that bigger number is. So let's go out to the 10th. There was 213,000 infections. So let's go to the 7th. Let's go to there. Let's go back. 10. Hold up. Let me line it up again. I do February. Yeah. So we're going January 17th. 1901. Do they jump? They jump up on the 19th. They jump up on the 20th. 21st, they jump up. See what I'm saying? Those deaths lag, man. Epidemiologists show you that deaths lag. They always lag. So when old boy said something about those deaths, he was kind of really out of pocket. So as we look at this map right here of infections rates, look, Hawaii seemed to be a little bit more safer than everywhere else. These southern states are crazy, crazy, crazy. Look at mine. Our governor just removed all restrictions. Our governor removed all restrictions. So it's free ball. We back to normal. We still in a pandemic and we back to normal. And our cases have risen. I was reading our local news yesterday and our cases have increased since things have changed. Look at Vermont. Vermont chilling. But these eastern states, these northeastern states are more careful with this COVID stuff than other places. And it goes to show. We just looked at a Texas cohort study that talked about Texas big numbers, and we already know what's up with California. But these states right here, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, these states, they don't believe in the vaccine at all. None of them. They have the lowest vaccination rates. And if you're looking at it per death or per case rate, per their population, because these places are so spread out and not heavily populated like these other states are, they stuff look high. And by the way, I just want to say something. As you can see that you see a 0 right here from Florida. I want you to pay attention to Florida numbers. Are you telling me that Florida ain't got no cases? No cases. You know what this tells me? They ain't even reporting that information. But this is not just me saying this. This is also CK, who's in Florida. And she said, there's something really going on and something really wrong with these people. They ain't even reporting no data for cases. What? Let's see what deaths say. They ain't reporting no data. Either their data is slow or they're not reporting. Ohio, same way. Yeah, there's a lot of states like that. They're not reporting information. So look, let's do this live, right? And then I'm gonna let all y'all get to y'all festivities because it's almost noon, and I know people got to start getting themselves ready to go hang out with their family. We all know what's going on in Florida, yo. We all know what's going on in Florida. So, Florida Department of Health says record straight on false data claims by Miami Herald. Today, the Miami Herald published an article riddled with contradictions and false claims, specifically in regards to the front page headline: Florida changed its COVID-19 data, creating an artificial decline in recent deaths. Now, they argued about this. Florida changed its COVID-19 data, creating an artificial decline in recent deaths. Fact, this is completely incorrect and misleads the public. So, this is what they're trying to do here, right? So, this was an argument that was being held here because people was going to Miami and hanging out on the beach and coming back on the airplanes infected with COVID. So, Miami was saying this ain't right. So, then the Columbia Law School comes out and they say COVID-19 data misrepresented by Florida governor. The South Florida Sun Sentinel reported that the Florida Department of Health had commenced an inquiry into the state's reporting of COVID-19 deaths after Governor Ron DeSantis suggested that the official reports overstate the number of deaths. You move on further. For 105 days, COVID death toll in Florida counties went missing. See, you got to build yourself up to what's really going on with these people. This is reported by the Tampa Times. So no longer we're not dealing with the Sentinel no more. This is the Tampa Bay Times. The state and federal governments could have shared the death toll in each county with the public, but didn't know. So for 105 days this summer, while COVID-19 deaths soared across the state, Floridians had no idea how many of their neighbors were dying. So when we go back and we look at Florida, they said the summer, watch deaths, the summer deaths, May, no reporting, no reporting, no reporting, no report. Look, no reporting, no reporting. So going all the way back, no reporting. 105 days with no reporting. That was intentionally done by DeSantis because he's been trying to buck the system the whole entire time. It may end his reelection too, because there's a lot of misinformation in Florida coming up out of the ignorance. But they have data, it just wasn't being reported. Of course, they get in on it. There's no mystery in Florida's COVID reporting. Media eager to target Ron DeSantis have a problem, then switched to a methodology many other states use. He's been deceptive his entire time since he's been in office in Florida, down there, especially dealing with this pandemic. And therefore, you got many people going down there and they're getting infected and so on and so forth. Yeah, he probably gonna run for it. I don't think he gonna get it. Yeah. So so again, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate everybody tuning in, man. I'm not gonna draw this out or anything like that. I just wanted to let people know where YouTube was with this information. Because I seriously represented the data correctly and had the sources that were qualified by local health agencies and the WHO. And I wanted y'all to see the sources again because these sources are all linked to the WHO and local agencies and the scientific community as a whole. I use journals, um, uh, cited news like let's see, the New England. I use the New England Journal of Medicine, JAMA, Nature, right? I even went to BMJ to use some case studies, the CDC for case studies, the health agency in Minnesota reliable as I used so many different sources. It's just crazy. But it is what it is when it comes to that. So there's nothing that I could do. 90 days, no signs with Shawn. Um, it is what it is. So my resolution to the problem is that I will, if I do a refutation video, that I will do it live on Facebook from my Facebook channel. And I will have all the sources and all of that in the description. I will continue to break those down if I want to break those down, and we'll deal with it from a place to where we can deal with it. Now, I should have showed y'all where I still have the Robert Malone video. YouTube did not remove that video. They just took it off. That was that first strike. They didn't take the video. They just left it in the back. So I could replay that video, but I could do that on like Facebook. I can play that video refuting that information, but I don't want to do that because that's going backwards. And I know many conversations will take us backwards all the time, but I'm about advancing knowledge. So, I just wanted to show the incorrections in YouTube, how inconsistent they are with the information. I just proved to you where YouTube still has this misinformation video still on YouTube, but I get a strike for refuting the information that was in that video. And the sources that I use, there's no way that YouTube spent 2 hours or 3 hours reviewing every single source that I put in the description of the video, which supports everything that I said and that did not support what was in that video. So it is what it is. The CK, the video is still public. I played the YouTube video. The YouTube video is still public. I didn't use the video that you sent me in your chat. The YouTube video is up. It's still up. That video should have been taken down. There's no way that that video exists, but they just popped me. I did. I contacted them about it. They refused to take it down. I mean, they gave me the strike. I appealed it and they didn't remove it. So you telling me that I need to send an email to them or what? It could be because of the views. I don't know. Nah, they didn't do a copyright strike, CK. Because you couldn't have did a copyright strike because I played a disclaimer. They said, we reviewed your content carefully and we have confirmed that it violates our medical misinformation policy. They claimed that I violated the medical misinformation policy. Houseway. And I don't have no way of contacting them. I done went to the email. I done did all of that. There's no way for me directly contacting a YouTube person unless you have the information to send me, because I don't feel like going to get a headache trying to find that information to present that argument. They said my video, which debunked everything in that video, misrepresented their stuff. That's what they said when I appealed it. And they don't give me any contact information. Or I would actually do it. I would contact them. Again, that video went against their standards. I'm penalized for refuting the information, and now I got a strike. Yeah, you find it, send it to me on Facebook, and I'll I'll upload all my sources refuting the video, and We'll see what that argument says. But they already took the video down. They removed it off of Facebook history memory. No, see, I don't my channel's not monetized. So they can report it for copyright all they want to. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. I understand what you're saying, CK, but what I'm telling you is that ain't stop nothing because I played the video. This person probably don't even know that I played this person's upload. The fact is the upload is on there. This was an upload. This wasn't another person's video. This was a video upload to this person's channel. They uploaded this from somewhere else to their channel. So it wasn't a disclaimer situation. This was merely a medical information issue. But on to bigger and better things, man. So look, um, the breakdown that I actually gave refuted everything in the video. The sources were all legitimate sources that relied on their policy. Now I'm using their community policy. Based on their community policy, I followed their guidelines, and yet I got a strike. For those of you who are tuned in right now, man, if you haven't picked up your copy of What SARS-CoV-2 Taught Me, I suggest you get it. The link is in the chat. Get your copy of the book. I promise you, if you have the book, you will be armed to refute a lot of misinformation. You will also be armed to deal with whatever you need to deal with. There's the book. Go to the website, same tree, different brand publishing.com. Click on the link, get your copy of What SARS-CoV-2 Taught Me, add it to the cart, shop it out. I'm autographing copies. I got about 30 next to me. I got about 30 books next to me. So as they come in, I'm already signing them, printing out, doing the envelopes, packing them up. Now, granted, today is a holiday, but as soon as the post office open, the books are coming out to you ASAP. So go get your copy of What SARS-CoV-2 Taught Me. There's a lot of information in there that can help move the conversations forward. Remember, I'm all about moving the conversations forward. Hit the link, get your book. But yeah, enough about that. It is what it is with that, man. So if I refute any information again, like any of those videos, uh, I won't do them on YouTube. I am going to do them on my Facebook channel, and it'll be in a similar fashion. We'll review the video, we'll go through it and all of that, and I will lay out the argument in that gist. And that's as if I waste my time doing it. And therefore, it'll be available. Really, a lot more people could actually view it. But it's gonna be up to y'all if y'all like the shows and share the shows and stuff like that. If I do it on my Facebook, and therefore we know it doesn't come down. So when people try to introduce us to this misinformation again, you just relay them to, all right, check this stream out right here. They can be like Facebook, and you'll be like, yeah, all the sources in the description, point for point breakdown. Here's the information as it sits, and we'll have that. Yeah, you gotta put the little thing in the description of the video on it, but I probably won't play any music or anything like that on Facebook. I mean, on Facebook. But yeah, go get your copy of What SARS-CoV-2 Taught Me. I put a lot of effort and work into that, man. I guarantee you that you're gonna love the book. I guarantee you that you're gonna enjoy the book. You'll learn something. Your family members and friends, especially we're in the middle of a pandemic with COVID cases surging. Um, Make sure that we're on for that. Uh, and where was all of y'all at last night when we was getting busy, man? We was getting busy last night. Y'all almost make me not want to get off the stream right now, man. cook something for my sister. My uncle out there frying up some turkeys. I don't even eat that. So y'all on with that. Let me see what my niece on. All right, so look, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I know y'all about to have some festivities going on with you and your families. It's about to be 12 o'clock. I know y'all gonna watch football. I know y'all ain't gonna listen to no stream. So I'm gonna let all of y'all, get back to doing what y'all doing. Maybe I'll return this evening. And we'll build on some West African history or something like that. I just don't want to continue to flood the Masi Warrior Clan YouTube channel with science information. So therefore, I created that channel to actually get into all of that science and misinformation and disinformation stuff so that we can have a place to compartmentalize that data and deal with it and not flood this channel, because this channel is about history, culture, linguistics. You know what I'm saying? It's about Kimoyo. It's about our African American experience, our African diasporian experience. You know what I'm saying? It's more to that. So I don't want to just water it down with a whole bunch of series of Science with Shawn again. I mean, I did that already, and I shouldn't have did that. I should have did it somewhere else. But I want to continue to keep us at our core here and let our brothers and everybody be able to get that information out, because there's some good information on the channel right now that we've been uploading. People haven't just really viewed it, but we need to get it up. And let me see, check Facebook. All right, I got it. Okay, I got it. Appreciate it. Message them and they will help them get it. I got you. I ain't got Twitter though. I ain't got no Twitter. Let me see. All right, I got it. Let's see, hit this. All right, I figured out. But yeah, I want to just continue to keep that. So I think what I'm gonna do is come back and kind of finish up on the Askias and talk a little bit about them, potentially, or something about West African history and culture and so forth, so that we can continue to advance that. A lot of people really check that stuff out and appreciate and like that stuff. So I want to continue to bring out that and just keep delivering the West African history as best as we can. Okay, that's what we're about. So, man, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. I mean, I can continue to keep talking, but this video is an hour right now, and I don't want to chance it. So, with that being said, peace.
You looking at a young black king. Astro project, blast of a tech, pass your neck with the shit to leave a rabbit and Rex from the back of a black Acura. Bullet ricocheted and it's weight and it passed through your pecs. The assassin wet. All y'all know y'all don't have to go. Sawed off shoddy, make you potty, probably call the law. Me no gangster, I'm no tough, got me child of the most high. I get on the mic and you go, bye bye. Devil don't test me, I throw shrapnel where your chest be. Shooting our family down in the streets. Fuck the police, they ain't marching for me. Pull up, not that Rari, I ain't bad yet. I pull up, out that 85% of mass at. I put this on God, bad black is so hard. Bitch, I'm going back to Harlem in my West African garb.
Carter on the beat.